بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ألف لام ميم ذلك الكتاب لا ريب فيه هدى للمتقين.
Interpretation of the Holy Quran.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful. With the help of Allah, we have started to have a brief interpretation of Quran. We reached to chapter Al-Baqara, the longest chapter of Quran, which is revealed in Medina. It has 286 verses. Please listen to verse 171 and 172.
ومثل الذين كفروا كمثل الذي ينعق بما لا يسمع إلا دعاء ونداء صم بكم عمي فهم لا يعقلون يا أيها الذين آمنوا كلوا من طيبات ما رزقناكم واشكروا لله إن كنتم إياه تعبدون.
And the parable of those who disbelieve is as the parable of one who calls out to that which hears no more than a call and a cry, deaf, dumb, and blind, so they do not understand. يا أيها الذين آمنوا كلوا من طيبات ما رزقناكم واشكروا لله إن كنتم إياه تعبدون. O you who believe, eat out of the good things that we have provided you with, and give thanks to Allah if Him it is that you serve. In previous section, we talked about these two verses. In verse 1, verse 171, Allah wants to criticize disbelievers and says to His Prophet, O Muhammad, you should know that when you are talking to disbelievers, it's the same as a shepherd, herder, who talks to the sheep, and they do not hear and they do not understand anything except a cry, a call. So, disbelievers who do not follow the truth, as they are sheep, and you are as a shepherd, they are as deaf, dumb, and blind. Of course, they are not actually deaf. Actually, they are not blind or dumb. But if a person doesn't use his ears to hear the truth and practice it, if he doesn't use his tongue to tell the truth and ask questions and get the truth and practice it, or a person who doesn't hear the truth, doesn't see the truth, as such a person is blind, deaf, or dumb. فَهُمْ لَا يَعْقِلُونَ. And these people do not understand because they don't use the tools that Allah had given them to understand the truth, to digest the reality and practice it, of course, as they are the same as a sheep. So we will see that in this verse, Allah has two parables. One prophet is as a shepherd, is the same as a shepherd, herder, and people are the same as a sheep if they get the truth and they do not practice it. And after that, next verse, Allah said, okay, eat whatever I have provided you, the good things from whatever I have provided you, and try to thank Allah if you serve Him. There are a few messages. In previous section we could not mention them, and I'm going to mention these messages that we can get from this verse. One, as we mentioned, if a person doesn't use his eyes, his ears, his tongue to get the truth and understand and practice it, as they are in the culture of Quran, they are as deaf, dumb, blind. In another word, we can say they are the same as sheep. They have all these tools, but they do not use them. They are not actually able to use them to get the truth or to follow it. They don't understand it. They don't have intellect. So if a person has the intellect and all these tools, but they do not use them to follow the truth, they are the same as these animals or even worse. As Allah says in Quran, أُولَٰئِكَ كَالْأَنْعَامِ بَلْ هُمْ أَضَلُّ. They are as animals or even worse than that. Why it is worse? Because nobody can blame them. Nobody can take the animals to the court to punish them. But human beings, actually, yes. We can take them to court and Allah is going to have a chastisement regarding to these people. Why? Because they had the tools. It's the same as a person who was able to help other people, but he didn't. It's not comparable to a person who did not have facilities. So, in first message, we understand that the value of tongue and ear and eye is to help us to get the truth. This is the value. Otherwise, it's better not to have it. Why? Because we will be punished because we had these facilities. Second message, also we have understood that in the culture of Quran, some people who have eyes, they are called as a blind. Some people who have ears, they are called deaf. And some people who have tongue and they are able to talk and they are able to give a very good lecture, but in the culture of Quran, they are called as a dumb. Why? Because these tools did not help them to understand. Allah says, فَهُمْ لَا يَعْقِلُونَ. These people are as a dumb, as a deaf, as a blind, because they do not understand. So we must understand that these tools are the tools to help us to get the truth. Also, we have understood that those people who did not take these tools to get the truth, to practice the truth in their life, Allah has brought as a 5 different attributes for these people. One, Allah said, as they are the same as some who do not understand, who do not hear the truth, is the same as animals. So Allah humiliated these believers who hear the truth, who see the truth, but they do not practice, they do not follow. So first attributes, Allah humiliated them and said they are like animals. Second, Allah said these people are deaf. Third, they are dumb. And fourth, they are blind. And fifth, فَهُمْ لَا يَعْقِلُونَ. They do not understand the truth. They are so weak. Mentally, they are weak. Another message that we can get from this verse, we will see that Allah says, يَا أَيُّهَا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا كُلُوا مِنْ طَيِّبَاتِ مَا رَزَقْنَاكُمْ. O believers, eat of the good things that we have provided you. Eat from out of good things. We will understand that eating and to enjoy from eating is not condemned in Islam. Allah says, I have given to you and eat ye and drink ye. Only follow the conditions. Either here I mention you or in any other verses. But to eat is not condemned. So this is wrong if in Islam a person says, for example, fruits, I'm not going to take these fruits because it is forbidden. Nothing is forbidden except some that is mentioned either in Quran or narration. Otherwise, any other things are allowed in Islam unless they are harmful for a person. So a person can have a righteous and have a piety, still he eats from everything that Allah allows and enjoys. So, in another word, monarchy is not something that in Islam is accepted or allowed. No, it is not allowed and it is not accepted. In Islam, every person should have a normal life. Eat and drink like normal people and try only to be a thankful person, as I'm going to mention and Allah has mentioned in this verse. In this verse, Allah says, eat, kulu. And after that, Allah says, but washkuru lillah. Try to thank Allah. In kuntum iyyahu ta'budun, if you worship. So eat, but thank Allah if you are a worshipper, if you are worshiping Allah, if you want to serve Allah. So we will see that the food should help us to thank Allah. Take the bounties of Allah, blessings of Allah, and use them properly and thank Allah. So these facilities should help us to be thankful. Also, we understand from this word when Allah says, طَيِّبَاتِ مَا رَزَقْنَاكُمْ, the good things from whatever we have provided you. Allah says, Allah doesn't say, eat whatever you want, enjoy from whatever you want, or anything you find. No. طَيِّبَاتِ مَا رَزَقْنَاكُمْ, from the good things from whatever we have provided. Sometimes we have given something, you will find something, but it is not allowed. This is not clean. If it is not clean, it means it is not allowed in Islam and you are not allowed to use them and eat it. So if it is clean and good, as Allah explained, clean doesn't mean only there is no blood in it, or for example, it's not dirty. Sometimes spiritually they are dirty. Spiritually, it means, as I'm going to mention, and inshallah in next verse, we are going to talk about it. For example, carrion, a meat from a sheep which is slaughtered in not Islamic way. In the culture of Quran, this is dirty. It's the same as a blood. But sometimes some dirtiness, we can see it clearly, and sometimes we cannot see it. Allah says anything which is allowed, you can take and use it. So we will see that Allah will pay attention to our foods, our drinks that should be clean, as Allah is mentioning that. Allah says, Kulu washrabu. First Allah says, eat, and after that says, okay, try to thank Allah, and you should be a thankful person. So we will understand that if we want to ask other people to worship Allah and to thank Allah, first we should think about the food too. Those people who have problems financially, we must understand that it is also hurting many people even to serve Allah. So if we can, we should help other people even financially, economically, and after that expect them to worship Allah and be a good person. Also from this sentence, when Allah says, Washkuru lillah. Washkuru lillah, it means thank Allah, and it is an order. It means it is obligated to thank Allah. Allah has given us blessing and bounties, and it is obligated for the people to thank Allah. Then when Allah says, كُلُوا مِن طَيِّبَاتِ مَا رَزَقْنَاكُمْ, eat from whatever Allah says I have provided to you, it means you are not allowed to forbid anything on behalf of yourself. Anything Allah has forbidden is haram, and it is not allowed. Anything Allah has allowed, nobody can forbid. Of course, unless for a temporary time for some benefits, as Allah has mentioned or in different narrations, like nazar. Nazar, it means to vow between a person and Allah not to use something which is allowed, but it is harmful for him. Otherwise, anything which is allowed, and nobody can forbid to himself. Thank you very much for watching. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.